This is the negative, written by Andy Orr. Fade in. Exterior, Main Street day. We open on a small spit and sawdust town, the definitive backdrop of a classic Western. Superimpose Blythewood County, California, 1872. We weave through assorted townspeople taking in the wooden buildings of Main Street and the new railroad being built in the distance before settling on two stern men on horseback. The younger man, Waylon Blythewood, shows signs of a fresh beating and he weaves a little in his saddle. Opposite him, Joseph Blythewood sits ramrod straight. He glares at Waylon through hard, squinting eyes. Waylon coughs lightly and then proceeds to speak with an accent akin to Clint Eastwood playing Blanche Dubois.
Good luck.
This could be good. I need to know why, Father.
Because you ain't my blood, but I raised you like you was. You're nothing but a black liar, and one day when my time has come on this earth, I will see you in hell.
Waylon coughs again, a little harder this time.
I did it for love, Papa. But you never understood. I didn't cry. And that she's the daughter of your greatest rival. She showed me a gentle love. A serene love.
Waylon lets out a spluttering, consumptive rack that ends with him spitting heavily on the floor.
A tender love. But if I must leave, then I will.
Cut!
Conrad Philippe, 48, English and rakishly debonair, hurls his bullhorn to the ground and launches himself out of his director's chair with a face like bloody murder. His producer, Micheal, 42, worriedly follows. We have been watching the shooting of a movie.
Conrad, please take it easy. This is just the first week and we're...
Conrad stops dead and silences him with a raised finger, just daring him to say another word. Then he then continues towards Waylon, who in reality is played by actor Louis Ballard, 37, an impossibly handsome man from literally any angle. The rest of the cast and crew look frustrated. It is clearly not the first time this has happened. Conrad reaches Louis just as he hops down from the saddle.
Okay, Typhoid Mary, explain to me just what the hell you are doing.
Louis grabs Conrad and stares soulfully into his eyes.
I had a great idea.
Another one? So soon after the other 12? We've not even reached lunch, and you are doing the accent. I made it quite clear that you are to refrain when talking to me.
Conrad turns to Micheal.
You recall what I said would happen if he continued?
Conrad, I don't think we have to...
I said I would plug his throat with the nearest child's arm. Micheal, fetch me an infant.
Louis claps his hands and lets out a belly laugh.
That's beautiful. Use that anger in your performance.
What performance? I'm the director, you dope. You're the bloody actor.
Oh, really? Like the great bard once said, all the world's a podium. You just think about that, man.
It's stage. The quote is, all the world's a stage.
Yeah. I don't like the rhyme, you know, the meter. So I added a couple of extra syllables. So sue me. It'll still mean the same thing.
You paraphrase Shakespeare?
Conrad seems momentarily at a loss for words.
And I just realized my character would have a lung disease.
Conrad takes a deep breath.
I don't remember this being in the script.
No, but my stepdaddy made all of his money from the tin mines, didn't he? All that dust and whatever got to him. And after all the time he spent down there, he must have passed some of it on to me.
I see. There are two immediate problems I could notice. That firstly, a chronic pulmonary disease of that type is quite famously not hereditary. And number two, even if it were, you are his adopted son.
Louis looks into the distance with a profound expression.
Well, then I caught it from the Yellow Man.
Micheal, a child, now.
I think if we took 5 minutes, we could collaborate and come to some sort of middle ground.
There will be no collaboration and there will be no compromise. This film is the culmination of my life's work and I will not see it turned into a laughingstock. I do not ask much, simply that you bend entirely to my will as if it were the unrelenting word of Almighty God himself for the complete course of the shoot. Are we clear?
Louis smiles guilelessly, placing his hands together as if in prayer, and bows his head. Conrad walks back to his chair.
I do declare, I reckon so.
Conrad roars and flings himself back at Louis. Freeze frame. Louis is smiling at a pretty extra, unaware that the outstretched hands of a berserk Conrad are just about to grab his throat. Title, The Negative. Interior, private jet morning. Superimposed Los Angeles, 1977. It's the height of the Easy Riders, Raging Bulls era of new Hollywood auteurs. Conrad is dozing in a comfortable leather seat. He stirs, recognizes his luxurious surroundings, and grimaces.
No, I'm alive. How disappointing.
Opposite him is his agent, Wendy Turner, 47, the smartest person in this or any other room. She sports a large polarized glasses, an East Coast accent, and a $200 hairdo.
Don't you start on me, Conrad.
My life was perfect before I started on this wretched picture, but now nostalgia has me in its grasp, Wendy, utterly infecting my entire being.
You're not ill, Connie. You're just nervous because you're about to begin the edit. That's perfectly natural, if a little tedious.
Nost, from the Greek, to return home. Algia, to feel pain. I am sick, diseased with nostalgia.
Wendy nods towards a stewardess tidying away some glasses.
Would you call for an ambulance, dear? This man is clearly wistful.
The stewardess smiles. Conrad is unamused.
You know, the Royal College of Physicians happily included it on their list of official diseases all the way up until 1899.
I'm sure they did, my darling, but the cure would probably have included laudanum suppositories and a near-lethal trepanning.
She takes an admiring sip of her champagne and pushes his glass towards him.
We are lucky to live in an age of more enlightened remedies.
Conrad rises angrily, picks up an empty champagne bottle and moves to hurl it down the cabin. Wendy calmly plucks it off him and places it back on the table.
Whoa there, Sonny Barger. Put the pool cue down.
Conrad sinks back down into his chair.
I won't do it, Wendy. I know if I look at one frame of that film, I'm going to poke at my eyes with a blunt knife.
Wendy takes his hands and gently caresses them. This seems to calm him. Her voice is soft and compassionate.
Oh, my sweet boy, you simply cannot imagine the magnitude of the fuck I'm not giving.
Conrad leaps up again and runs to the door of the plane.
I swear I will jump. How high up are we?
Wendy licks a finger to turn the pages of her magazine.
About 15 feet. You woke up when we landed.
Conrad takes a look out of the window and then reluctantly returns to his seat.
The studio have run out of patience. Boo-hoo. Boo-boo. They've not seen 1 foot of the film. Imagine that. They blank checked your movie, gave you carte blanche to do whatever you wanted, and they can't even see what they paid for. Now, how do you think you get away with that?
Because I have 2 bloody Oscars for Best Director on my mantelpiece, and I'm the preeminent filmmaker of the last decade. That's how.
No, my darling. It's because I got you the best damn deal this town has ever seen. But there are limits to what even I can do. The natives are restless, Connie, and they want a locked print by the end of the year.
She unclips her seatbelt. Interior customs area, LAX airport day. Wendy and Conrad walk towards passport control.
But the film is drivel.
You know I don't care for that term.
It's rubbish. It's pretentious, pompous crap. Do you know what that feels like? To turn up on the first day of shooting, shout, action, and realize you've made the worst mistake of your life? I shot for 9 months. I tried everything I could think of, but there was nothing I could do to save it.
Conrad's face darkens.
And if I have to start the edit, it will force me to reacquaint myself with him.
Exterior Main Street day, flashback. We see another scene of the movie being shot. A horse ruins a take by defecating heavily in the middle of the street.
Cut!
John.
Your sound's off, John.
Wait up, keep it rolling. I want to try something. Perhaps if I...
We stay on a perplexed Conrad as he watches Louis. He wearily raises the bullhorn to his mouth.
Don't rub shit in your face, Louis.
You see, Now the horse won't smell me creeping up on them and will accept me as one of their own.
Conrad turns to Micheal.
Remind me why does he want to creep up on a horse?
End of flashback. Interior Customs Area, LAX Day. Conrad and Wendy reach the passport control booth. A tanned, smiling customs officer greets him.
Welcome, Mr. Philippi. It's quite obviously pronounced Felipe. Of course, I trust you had a pleasant flight.
Conrad shrugs.
Are you in LA for business or pleasure? Neither. I have been abducted against my will, and my slave owners are insisting I bend over and accept their nefarious punishments on my very soul.
The custom officer's smile twitches slightly, but just about manages to remain on full beam.
I'll put business. Interior
Pawn Shop Day. Norman is watching a baseball game on TV. The shop is deserted and he swigs a beer. And as unvarnished as the table that he has his feet on, Norman is not a man to suffer fools. As we will soon find out, however, this is a little impediment to them congregating around him. The front door knocks a bell and Charlie, 34, enters. Whilst usually sanguine in demeanour, Charlie's bank balance proves he is sadly the exception to the rule that fortune favours the brave.
Norman?
That you, Charlie?
Yes, it is.
Then go away, Charlie.
Ah, don't be like that, man.
Whatever you got, I don't want it.
You talk like I ain't never bought you nothing.
You haven't.
We got history, I can't lie, but I come before you today with the score of a lifetime. This ain't no cheap sukiyaki portable TV. This ain't no penny anti-stereo tape machine.
One of yours?
Yeah? This is a bad example because that is actually a lovely piece. Your price is a bit keen, I think.
He puts it down on the counter.
But what I got for you today is dollar bills lined up from here to Glendale. And for a man with your experience, Norman, this you cannot afford to miss.
Yet I notice your hands are empty.
Charlie smiles. He raises one hand to reveal a dangling keychain with the logo Chevy van.
Not quite.
Exterior, rear of the pawn shop, Day. Charlie leads Norman out to the back alley at the rear of the pawn shop. The rest of Charlie's gang are leaning against the battered Chevy van. They are Anita, 27, Vittorio, 32, and finally Clifford, 35, as big as a bear and equally as likely to be distracted by something shiny. The side of the van has a tired psychedelic paint job of a large-breasted woman in a bikini smoking a sizable joint.
You know, Height Ashbury is 400 miles that way and about 10 years ago.
Don't be like that, man. I won this baby last month. I'm going to change it up. I just ain't got round yet.
Norman nods to the gang whilst Charlie pulls the side door open on the van with a flourish.
And this is the score.
The inside of the van is as gaudy as out. Fuzzy walls in garish purple, a tatty suede sofa, and filled from floor to ceiling with metal film canisters.
I don't see nothing.
Clifford looks confused.
They're film boxes. There's lots of them, see?
He taps on a few of the tins.
Where'd you find this one? Chess Club?
No, man. San Quentin.
Mensa Wing, no doubt.
And that's the end of our
Oh.
excerpt. Thank you, guys. So, thoughts on that?
What happens next?
Yeah.
Absolutely loved it. Haven't laughed out loud that well for a while. So good, so good. Just to help you out, guys, the reference Sonny Barger,
Yeah.
he was the man who started the Hells Angels.
Oh,
Ah,
right.
right.
Oh,
And
right.
he died last month.
Oh.
Ah, right.
Ah.
He was the man who started the Hells Angels in 1963.
Right. Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. But that was brilliant, and I definitely want to know what's going on now. And I'm going to try out that rubbing horse shit on your face.
Sorry, I jumped in to be Charlie, but I don't think he'd been allocated, so I just thought.
Right. I'm sorry about that. I missed
All right.
him, but thank you for that. Erin, what did you think?
I thought it was really funny, and I liked it. Had like a nice, an interesting like energy and rhythm to it. I don't know if it kind of reminded me of Wes Anderson a little bit. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
But maybe, I don't know. I thought it was very fascinating, really well written, really interesting. I want, like everybody said, I want to know what happens next.
Yeah, it's clearly Ray Fiennes is the director.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. It's definitely Ray Fiennes jumping up and down and veins. Yes, kicking us. Yeah.
Well, that's why I switched from that really bad Southern American to a very much upper class English accent. You know, because I've read how to speak with a Southern accent.
Yeah, I really like this one. I think it's a really interesting piece. It's setting itself up really nicely. Obviously, the film cans are the negative of the film.
Obviously.
How on earth Clifford got a hold of them? Of course, you want to know. And yeah, it's bound to finally be a massive success. That will, of course, need a sequel, so they'll have to work together again.
Yeah, it's kind of, this is written very Mel Brooks.
Yeah.
It just made me laugh so hard.
I agree with Erin. It's
Wonderful.
got a real Wes Anderson feel about it.
Also,
Yeah.
what was that film? I think it had George Clooney in, and was he a Roman or something?
Yes, it's called. Yes, I only watched it last week.
Oh,
I
really?
can't remember what it was.
Yeah,
called.
it's so funny.
Yeah,
It's got
It's
that-
set in the
about George
1950s. It's in the 1950s,
Yeah.
and it's
he's a film star, and he's
and they've made this. He's Julius Caesar.
Yeah.
And the reason he's Caesar is because it's the follow-on from Cleopatra.
Interesting.
Oh, it's hilarious.
I have to check that one out. My son
They
has a
they
theory.
kidnap him and hold him for ransom.
My son has a theory about George Clooney. He says everything that he appears in where he wears a suit is dreadful. Where he is freed from his suit, it's brilliant.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very funny.
Yeah.
You can
I don't know
breathe.
whether that's true or not, but
Oh brother, where art you? Well, no, he's brilliant in.
that was fabulous. Yes.
No, I liked it. I thought it was funny. I mean, I echo that, and I think, you know, sort of interesting changes of location, pace, mood, and things like that are really enjoyable, as Erin was suggesting, I think. And yeah, I'm sorry, I realised that I can, where the screen is, I can't sight read very well with my specs on. It's better without, I see. And I read somebody called Clifford thinking I was Charlie, so I got very confused. But yeah, so I probably need to take my specs off when the screen's over there. But yeah, it was great fun. It was very funny. I suppose if you were wondering about I mean, I really like when things are just funny all the time, but maybe after a bit you want some sort of, you know, contrast. So whether we would want some things which were, and probably there's room for pain in this as well, isn't there? I think we can see some people perhaps being set up for it. So I think that it's not going to stay just fun all the way, although, you know, God knows we could all do with a bit of that, but it's just sort of
Maybe the mafia get involved.
Yes,
They end up
do.
and they Conrad has to go to the mafia to try and get his film back or something.
I know it was yeah, very enjoyable.
Yeah, I think the only things I've got nothing bad to say about it, really. I would just say perhaps we need a little bit more delineation between what's the film within the film and the real life, as it were.
Yeah.
Just from the point of view that if you're making the film, if you're making this film, you need to know that that's a film.
Yes.
Yeah.
When it's the film within the film.
Don't just kind of surprise it on us.
Yeah. No, we enjoy that. I think everybody does really enjoy things about filmmaking, especially when people who make films are shown to be idiots. So for some reason, even those of us who work in such industries find it funny, especially us maybe. But yeah, just seeing everybody be ludicrous is very enjoyable.
But I do especially always like it when you have, which the writer here did very well, which is when you have a conversation that continues over several different scenes, different locations, but it's the same conversation. And that moves it forward in time, and it also moves you through the locations. Yeah. And that's a mark of somebody who knows what they're doing with the script, essentially.
Yeah.
It's come to me. The film was called Hail Caesar.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to look that up.
Yeah, it seems it's very confidently written, this piece.
Oh, very, very.
Yeah, you do get the sense that you're in safe hands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perhaps
This
it's got
this
warm.
guy is obviously very familiar with the industry,
Mhm.
because I don't think you can write at that level if you're not. And if he's not, well done, sir.
Fabulous.
And if he is, well done. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a moment. I've got a message from.
Yes, she had to go and powder her nose.
Oh, okay. Okie dokie. So yeah, thanks for that. Let's